Hey YouTube, Nick26 here, back with another fishing video for your viewing pleasure. It's the middle of November, which means it's that time of month again for the California Delta Fishing Report for November 2017. I've been fishing a lot this November. It's really been an exciting time to fish this year. There's lots of fish in the system. There's lots of fish on the move in the system. Been covering a lot of water, going a lot of different places, and I've been having a lot of success. Been throwing a lot of different baits. However, I've nailed it down to probably the top 3 to 5 baits that are working for me out in the Delta right now. I would say the fall transition is ending, and we're pretty much into a winter pattern now with the largemouth. The water is very, very clear, and temperatures have gone from about 62 to 55. They've been fluctuating in that range, so it's really been dictating what you can or can't throw out on the Delta. So this time of year, November, really the #1 bait, the do-it-all bait this time of year for me is a jerkbait. This time of year, a jerkbait is probably the #2 bait that I throw, and a lot of guys, it's the #1 bait that they throw. The jerkbait is an amazing largemouth bass fish catcher when the water is clear and conditions are very clear and the water is cold. It's got a very natural presentation to it. This here is a Rapala Husky Jerk 10. That's my favorite jerkbait and size. It appeals to a lot of largemouth and striped bass out here in the Delta. So that's what I've been catching on that, is a lot of largemouth and a lot of striped bass. So, I like to cast it out as far as I can, and I'll reel it in. I'll turn over the handle about 10 times, and then I'll just let it sit. 5, 10 seconds, just let it sit. And while I'm letting it sit, I slowly reel in the slack. Slowly reel in the slack, and then once the slack is tight, and then I just let it sit 10-15 seconds. Just let it sit. Don't be too eager to retrieve that bait. Just let it sit. Spin the handle about 5 more times and let it sit. 5, 10, 15 seconds. And I can't tell you how many times these fish will come grab it, you know, last second, right when I think, all right, you know, I'm gonna start moving it again, and they'll come hit it again. The longer you leave it, the better of a chance you have to catch a fish, especially the bigger ones. They drives them crazy when they see a fish go coming by. They see that jerkbait come by, and then it just stops, and it just sits there, and they look at it, and they look at it, and they swim up to it and look at it. Then they'll turn away. I've seen them do this in the clear water, and they'll come back, look at it again. Then all of a sudden their buddy comes from the side, and there's 2 of them looking at it now, and there's competition for the bait. And all of a sudden, whack! One of them grabs it, and it's really awesome when you are just letting your bait sit there, and then all of a sudden it just gets annihilated. A lot of fun. Husky Jerk 10 right now. The color that I like, this one here, is the only color I got right now. I've been throwing so many of these Husky Jerks. I lost my gold one. My favorite one to throw is the gold one. I also really like the ghost minnow. I throw the crap out of those and catch a lot of fish. So those are the colors that I recommend. This is the blue glass minnow, which I also like in a little bit of dirtier water. When the bite is really finesse, I'll even go down to like a Husky Jerk 6. This is the really small husky jerk and really finessey, and this appeals to a lot more fish because I'll catch panfish on this, as a matter of fact. I'll be looking for bass, and you can really open up your species on this one. You can catch largemouth, striped bass, or, you know, various types of panfish in the delta. So when the bite is real finicky and they, you know, they don't want to chase down that husky jerk 10, they don't want to commit to that bigger bait, often this smaller bait will do the trick. And now to the master of disaster itself. Here it is, guys. I don't even know if I should be showing you this right now. This commodity is so hot on the delta right now. It's just a white grub, 3-inch. Get yourself a little jig head, chartreuse tip, or some kind of colored tip. Throw a white grub with a chartreuse tip. You know, maybe 1/32 to 1/8 ounce hook. Throw this out in the delta right now and watch what happens. It's not the most fancy, most amazing bait, you know, you'll see a lot of guys throwing out of there, but, you know, a lot of times I'll go fishing with people and they're throwing their expensive, nice baits, you know, and they're not catching anything. And I'm throwing this little baby 3-inch grub with, you know, this little jig head on there, and I'm bent over all day, whacking them, whack, 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 largemouth after largemouth, whack, striper after striper, whack, whack, crappie after crappie, whack, whack, bluegill after bluegill, whack, whack, red ear after red ear, whack, whack. As a matter of fact, you know what I caught on this exact lure just a week ago? A 9-pound Pacific king salmon. They're running in the delta right now. So this is what I've been throwing. This is what I throw all day mostly. I've been trying a lot of other different things just because I like to give you guys a really good idea of what's going on in the delta right now. But from November through January, this is what I throw, and this is what gets it done for me. And this is something that I have been doing for about 8 years now, and I know for a fact that in my mind this is the best winter bait on the delta right now. You might not hear this from anybody else because there's not a lot of people throwing it, but this is skunk proof. So get yourself a white grub with a chartreuse head, throw it out, cast it as far as you can, and slowly roll it. Get that tail kicking, slowly roll it, and every species in the delta is gonna eat it. Catfish too. I personally haven't caught one yet, but I have seen catfish get caught on those grubs. So moving along to a next bait that I really like to throw. Once I find schooling fish with that jerkbait or that grub, those are more of like search baits that I like to throw. Once I locate these fish though, what I like to do is I like to go to a drop shot. So how I drop shot this time of year is pretty simple. These fish are still attacking white baits for the most part. You could get them on gold baits too, but they're not biting them the way that they were last month. So as you can see here, I have a Yum money minnow, just in a white pearl color, a 2.5-inch Yum money minnow, and I nose hook that onto a owner size 1 mosquito hook. I just take the bait like this, then you take the mosquito hook, and then you want to put it right down through the bottom, and then what I do is I bring it up through the nose like that. You nose hook it like that. That gives it the most action when you're drop shotting. That way you can see that it's very loose on the hook, and you can still get a really nice hookup ratio with that. So try drop shotting a Yum money minnow or some little 2-inch white type of shad looking bait, and you'll catch a lot of largemouth doing that. Not too many big ones, but I'm definitely catching my limit doing that. So those are some suggestions that I would give you this time of month to just really catch a lot of fish. Now when I want to go for a bigger fish this time of year, the bigger largemouth, the bigger striper, I like to throw the underspin. This is a 4.8 inch Kitech on this underspin here. This is a 1/2 ounce underspin. So you really need to burn it and get that moving, but this appeals to you know, the larger class of striper and largemouth. If you want to bypass a lot of the dinks that you'll pick up along the way, then you can commit to the bigger bait and go for that. So last but not least, something that I've been catching on this month is the umbrella. These fish are still going after bait schools. So as you could tell, all of my presentations this month are little fish. I'm not throwing jigs, I'm not throwing frogs, I'm not throwing anything that resembles a craw or anything but a fish. So with that being said, I pulled out the umbrella. This is really the only time of year that I throw these type of rigs. What you see here are these little cream spoiler shads. The 3-inch cream spoiler shads in the Fire Tiger, and then I just got those connected to the umbrella. As you can see, these run a nice little bait school that you know, you can catch a lot of striper and a lot of largemouth on there. Sometimes you double up, and that's a lot of fun too. So that's going to be it for the November fishing report. Get out there with your jerkbait, fill up the boat, and then once you got a nice little bag going, try throwing something a little bigger like that underspin, or you know, even try going to a bigger grub. Try throwing a 5-inch grub or a 6-inch grub. You know, those things really work. That is one bait out here on the Delta that is not utilized the way that it should be. So if you've stayed long enough to see this end of the video, then that's why I'm gonna give you the raw details at the end. Try throwing a grub, and get back at me in your comments. Let me know how you guys did. I appreciate you watching, and like I said, I'm gonna be doing this video every month, so I look forward to doing it again next month. And I'm really gonna start targeting crappie, you know, this next month. During December, that's what I like to fish for. So I'm going to be doing a separate report probably for pan fishing this time of year, and I'll also probably do one for largemouth fishing this time of year. Just split it up, because I spend about 8 months a year largemouth bass fishing, and then for the winter months I really go multi-species then and enjoy all the fishing there is to be had out here in the Delta. So thanks again everybody for watching, and I'll see you next time.